So everyone you know and their mom has a podcast and you're like, why not me? I should have a podcast. I have expertise. I should make these things. Or should I? Should I invest in this? What should I do? And I'm going to, in this video, sort of set the expectations on how I think you should think about using video podcasts as a tool for marketing, to brand yourself and your expertise. Let's talk about it. So before we get into your mindset around creating video content in a video podcast, I want to talk about the different formats and ways you could do it. There's pretty much three ways that you're going to see. There's a remote podcast, which you could do over Zoom. You see a lot of people do this. Some of them are going to be lower quality where they're just using Zoom to facilitate the conversation. You can also use better software like Riverside, which allows you to record at each end point, which creates better quality recordings. You can also increase the quality of your video podcast by investing in some equipment like a camera, ring light, and mic. In addition to that remote format, you can also do one that's in person, build one out yourself, come to a studio like ours, or in the third model, a pop-up video podcast is what we're referring to them as. Go to a location. So we just actually did one for Subaru of America. We went to their big annual event, set up a whole space. It kind of combines these ideas of being an experiential podcast with a content creation tool. So those are the three ways that you could think about getting into this space and creating content. And obviously you can imagine a remote podcast and each level is going to increase the cost and the quality associated with producing that content. But now let's shift into the mindset. So when you're creating a video podcast, a lot of people are looking at the penultimate podcasts that are out there, Smartless, Rogan, these people that 99% of the world know, they're a name brand in the house. And one of the things that I would say is in this saturated market like podcasting, you are probably not, and most likely not, going to be elevated to that level unless you put in a lot of time and a lot of money and create a lot of episodes and build a subscriber base. That might be a little disorienting. Why should I do this then? Well, let me tell you, that's why you're here. So the way I like to think about video podcasting is more of a system to create content. So let's talk about a regular video that you might make, a brand video, a training video. That starts in pre-production with scripting, storyboarding, concept development, talking through sites and logistics. There's all of these things that happen before we even walk on set and film a single thing. Then there's the production itself, filming, and then this whole post-production process, right? Interweaving the story if it's documentary, matching it to the script, fixing things that we might have had issues with, editing, all these different pieces, right? With a video podcast, we take out a lot of that upfront work. Yes, you should do some pre-work. Yes, you're going to want to create an outline and decide at least the topics you're going to talk about. But for the most part, it's about being conversational. So as long as you know the North Star of where you're headed, bring that outline, bring your idea, sit down and just talk. So we've taken out most, if not all, of the pre-production process, which lowers cost and lowers that time requirement, right? Now let's go on the back end. So you're recording this content. You're having this conversation, 10 minutes, 25 minutes, 40 minutes, right? And in the end, you have this long conversation that, in my opinion, especially in the beginning, no one is going to listen to. I know that's really mean and I'm sorry, but most people are probably not going to listen to that long form video. What you've done though, is you've created this longer piece of content that can now be trimmed down into shorts. And those short form videos can be deployed over time on Vimeo, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, right? On Facebook and TikTok and all these different places. And now the same experience you have when you probably find that you're following somebody, your followers are going to have. A trickle effect of getting to know you, of seeing your expertise, and then eventually following and maybe even listening to that long form content, right? But if you look at the process that I just defined versus that model for building your brand film, scripting, storyboarding, all that different stuff, and now this podcast modality, you've just scaled your content creation process. And I just used one example where you talk for 45 minutes. Sit down in a studio, talk for 2 hours, 3, 4. There's a lot of short form content that can come from that, right? And you can get to a place where you're putting out content every week, every other day, even daily, multiple times a day, and engaging with your audience. So by deploying a video podcast strategy, you've now created a faster way to create content and to scale it. And those are, I think, the biggest values in doing it. One other aspect of this, which is, if you remember the old word blog before it got replaced by vlog, right? Still a very important thing to do, the email marketing that you do, the blogging that you do to make sure that your website's gonna rank well. That past process, right? Writing down an idea, typing it out, modifying it, all those different things. Well, now imagine taking that transcript and extracting it from your video and now turning that into your blog. You've just expedited your writing process as well. So you're really killing two birds with one stone and reaching your target audience and hopefully meeting your marketing goals. If you like this video, please like. If you want to see more like it, please subscribe and share it with anybody you think would like this video as well. Thanks so much.